stop with every place to go. Face beat off the frame, those painted lashes are laid. Neon jacket with the matching boots, lace by sweet girl who strings to 24 inches of extensions for your love. I'm feeling super good, sweating, listening. So sick, can you make no sense? I'm feeling super good, sweating, listening. Coming through like this. Been crawling up the walls, it's time to ball. Dance floor's the solution to all this seclusion. Hands looking sharper than a handsaw sword. Bossy and fussy, it's a movie on. And I grant cause you can't duplicate, but hey, go on. I'm feeling super good, sweating, listening. So sick, can you make no sense? I'm feeling super good, sweating, listening. Coming through like drip. I'm feeling super good, sweating, listening. So sick, can you make no sense? I'm feeling super good, sweating, listening. Coming through like drip.
Swag so sick, might as well call the doctor. Popping this bitch, nigga, yeah, I'm really proper. Floss for a nigga, why they wanna talk they got her. I'm drip, hotter than lava. You know I'm the vibe, I keep my dress outside twisted. Cause I'm kinda dripping, ooh, I just asked your bitch, but guess I'm big pimpin'. Don't step to me behind your thotty, cause I'm not tryna catch your body. I can't pop bottles where Afro Sensei dropping the boat, got the girls in the city. Open the back cause they know they rent pay. The BGC like it ain't no game. No face, no friends, no time for lanes. Super Cali swagger, listen, sissy. How you feeling, man?
I'm feeling super good, sweating, listening. So sick, can you make no sense? I'm feeling super good, sweating, listening. Coming through like drip. I'm feeling super good, sweating, listening. So sick, can you make no sense? I'm feeling super good, sweating, listening. Coming through like drip. I'm feeling super good, sweating, listening. So sick, can you make no sense? I'm feeling super good, sweating, listening. Coming through like drip. All dressed up with every place to go. Face beat off the frame, those painted lashes are laid. Neon jacket with the matching boots, lace by sweet girl who strings to 24 inches of. I'm feeling super good, sweating, listening. So sick, can you make no sense? I'm feeling super good, sweating, listening. Coming through like drip. All dressed up with every place to go. Face beat off the frame, those painted lashes are laid. Neon jacket with the matching boots, lace by sweet girl who strings.
Sensei show. I am Afro Sensei. I hope you're having a good week. I've had a good week. A few things with me. Video. Right now, it's also a little ways to promoting that video. Actually, this week I uploaded the album BGC, which stands for Black Gay Chat. If you know from back in the gap, I think it's site's shut down now, but back in the gap, I think it's the chat site / the hookup site. So I decided to name the album that because it does talk about things like it's from my perspective as a Black gay man. So that's the one play on words, but also just there's songs in like Love Takeover and songs about relationships and songs about just different aspects that are kind of aren't all specific to Black gay folks, or just LGBTQ people, but can apply in certain ways. Tracks like it's a track called FOMO, which is about like social media and like the way people seem to commodify friendship, things like that. And then like let's say like Love Take Over, Swagger Swaggerlistic, those type of things. So that's all on the album. The album will be out officially October 22nd, which is a Friday, which actually I'll be doing a show that Friday, this show. So that would be a celebration that night for the album's release, finally, because it's been a long time, between just getting it done and also just COVID. It's been a journey, to say the least. So that'll be out on October 22nd. So that's been going on with me. Actually, aside from that, in terms of TV watching, I've been watching a few documentaries. I actually watched a new one on Rick James called "Bitchin'," which makes sense given who subject he is. It really covered just his life, things. I found a few things I didn't know, like he went to the army, but he went AWOL and played the Canada for a while and played in the band, and then came back and he got taken back to the army, and then once he got out, he kept pursuing music. Then he had the early success, well, a long grind to success. And then he hit it big with street songs, and they had that. Then of course you had the kind of downward spiral with drugs and certain things with the arrests and going to jail and sort of that, and then coming out, and then sort of the resurgence with the I'm Rick James, bitch with Chappelle, with if you're my age, that's kind of your. But I won't say that's introduction. That was kind of reintroduction to Rick James. So, but it was entertaining. So I would say there's a few things that I learned that I didn't know, but I think for the most part, it kind of tread some of the similar ground. If you remember his behind the music back in the day, it's a similar territory. So, but I still recommend it. And one I saw over the weekend too, another music one, Oasis, Supersonic. So that was why I'm not as knowledgeable on Brit pop, but of course everybody kind of knows Oasis, Wonderwall, and Champagne Supernova, a few other ones. So it kind of delves into like it covers a short period of like so a little bit of their childhood, and then the initial sort of struggle, and then up until like I'd say like the mid to late 90s when they were like kind of at their height of popularity. So if you want kind of insight of like Britain and kind of 90s music and how it's the whole sort of scene, it is insightful in that way. And of course it's kind of insightful too into the relationship between Liam and Noel, which if you know anything about the band, that was kind of driving forces, that sort of love hate they have for each other. I guess now it's kind of hate because they don't know, they ain't been in the band together in the eons. So and then it just explores like there's a bit of the childhood, kind of not the best childhood, but abusive dad, single mom had to leave, and the struggle to get, and then also along with the conflict itself, and they sort of clashes with the press and everything else. And it kind of hits on something too, like they kind of made the point of like, at least Noel especially did, I guess they were saying the way that the band sort of got bigger through word of mouth, and this whole sort of organic thing that happened with the rise of the band, and how it was fueled by that sort of like communal sort of sense of like, hey, this is kind of great, this is happening, and everybody sort of being into it at once, as far as like a mass audience, saying how hard that would be to happen now. I kind of agree with that too. Now getting something later when I weigh in on the whole Drake and Michael Jackson thing, that's something later on in the show. But it really does hit on that, the idea that things are so fractured now, and things, the way that media works and the way that music kind of works, as far as how people kind of rise up and become stars, like a better word, has changed so much. That wasn't so long ago. It's about only like 25 years ago at this point with Oasis. Things have shifted so much that the way they kind of rose to prominence, you couldn't necessarily see that happening in the same way now. Now, of course, it's like a TikTok, or people build up on social media, and they kind of cross over in different areas, and maybe music is something that they do. It's just different now. But I mean, it's even if you're not big on advanced music, it's a good documentary to watch, called Supersonic. So now with those two things aside, getting to the artists I'm gonna play tonight. Got a good lineup tonight. Aside from myself playing Little Waves again tonight, we also got Hybrid, which is a great video, like a rap R&B duo. We have that playing that video tonight. J. Americana, which is a very interesting video. You may have stay tuned for that one. LG Team Genius with the track Dripping. We got Mel Lennon with Work. Very more interesting video how that one kind of develops, and kind of he kind of followed the storyline through. It's an interesting one. She Real is another one. Great video, great catchy one. And also Unsung Lily with great retro pop kind of track. So all videos. And also got an interview this week too with Hales. She's been on the show before. Well, we've played her video before for Escape, and just another interesting concept, which I asked her about that during the video. What was her process behind that? And she'll explain that once we get to the interview. So I was, good interview. Caught her on kind of a busy day, but I think we got some had a good conversation. So let's get into the first video tonight. My latest video for the song that's out now, Little Waves. Again, the local director did this with Ventures Prince one Saturday, in the morning at the beach, then at the bus stop, and at the closed club. So we got it done. So this is my video for Little Waves. Let's get into that one.
Sometimes a laugh takes me back to when we whispered in the dark. Sometimes a song reminds me of what began so long ago, even though I know we both chose to travel alone. It does ease the road, no. Just when I think that I have got my head all wrapped around it, my heart gets all carried away with me. I swam my way to shore, and now I
All right, and that was my video for Little Waves. Like I said, very happy with how it turned out, the whole 50s theme, the color scheme with the blues and the reds. That was really a great collaboration between myself and Benjamin Prince. She's actually, like I said before in a previous show, she shot a few other videos. She shot one for B-Side Blues with all, gold and black. And she also shot one for a remix of Love Take Over, what we did the routine in the museum, which is a interesting day. Also very hot, actually. So, but and again, that's for Little Waves. I don't know if I'm gonna do another video off the album because that makes that's a total of 6 off this one, Um, but I may, if I do one, it may be like a little lyrical video. Actually, I do plan to do some performance videos with the same director and shoot about maybe about at least 4 of them, maybe 4 or 5 of them, performances of songs off the album, and then spread those out after the album's release. So unless it'll be like another video like that, like Little Waves or Supercar Swagger listed, but it will be like live performances where a little bit of like a tiny desk unplugged sort of vibe. Shoot, I hope unplugged for the Wayback Machine, but tiny desk, BBC Radio. If you ever watch those performances, things like that, that's what I kind of have in mind. So stay tuned for that, and then it will share some of those performances. So something to look forward to. But all right, getting some pop culture news. First up, this has been kind of a bit of a hot topic. One of the 2 Whitney albums I have tonight, actually. Oh, thank you, that gay rapper. Thank you. He's joined the chat. Welcome. And playing your song later on. Here, that's also Mel Lynn. We playing his track later on called "Work." So, thank you. But this is some news about a possible remake of "The Bodyguard" by Warner Brothers. So this is from Variety. So there's a Matthew Lopez. He's a Tony-nominated playwright of The Inheritance. He's been hired to write a reimagining of course, Whitney Houston film The Bodyguard, Warner Brothers. The new movie is inspired by the original one, 1992, of course, with Whitney Houston, Kevin Costner. It grossed $400 million, classic soundtrack. The hits, cover Always Love You, I Want, I'll Run to You, I Have Nothing, I Remember Woman, yes, classic, for the gods, all that. So he's represented 2 facts about Matthews, rep by CAA, Grandview Games. He's written The Inheritance. I know this has, I am in a Whitney group online called Whitney Warriors, and this is a bit controversial, which I get, but I don't get at the same time, because on the one hand, yes, The Bodyguard is, truth be told, if I had to pick a movie with Whitney in that I watch over and over again, it's not necessarily The Bodyguard, it's Waiting to Exhale, more so than The Bodyguard. I love the soundtrack for The Bodyguard, but in terms of what I would watch Whitney act in, it will either be The Bodyguard, not The Bodyguard, it either be Waiting to Exhale or The Preacher's Wife before The Bodyguard. For me, but everybody has their one. So, but I get why, like I say, it's classic from the soundtrack to the whole thing. It was a moment for the nostalgia, according to the diva Mariah. That said, I think it would be good for the fans, for the Nippyites, and I just made that up. It'd be a good idea to think of it like kind of like a Star Wars Born in a way, because originally, for those who don't know, the role was offered to Diana Ross like 15 years ago, before Whitney became a star. So, and she turned it down. Then of course it went to Whitney, and everything happened. So it may be a good idea to think of it like a Star Wars Born, in the sense that the fundamental story, a famous person being stalked and falling in love with the bodyguard, things like that, that can be the same, but you could change it around where, say, like, instead of it being, instead of trying to make it like a Broadway show where like we got to do the same songs, have the same actors, things like that, you can change it a bit up, you can switch it up a bit, you can maybe make it about a rapper instead of a singer. You can have like have to be maybe possibly like a female bodyguard protecting a female artist. It could be different things if you want to try different versions of this up while keeping the same story intact. So if that could be an option. And 2, and 3, in the midst of all this, him and hawing about who's going to play it and why this person ain't writing. Think about this. People are talking about Whitney in a positive way. So that's always a good thing. So even if you're not crazy about the remake, which I'm not particularly, it's still good because people are talking about Whitney. So that's good. That's a good part. No, this is good news. So let's see what comes of it. There's been a few names thrown out there. I think Lizzo was thrown out there, which again, I love Lizzo, but I don't know how much acting experience she has. Cardi B was one, which, you know, could be interesting. I don't know if she would carry a whole movie, but, you know, she definitely has personality. Someone said Lil Nas X, which, again, acting experience, I don't know about that. He's, you know, pretty early on in his career, which, by the way, Montero, full of bops, great album. You know, if you hadn't checked it out yet, great pop album that really draws on that, some of that early 2000s emo rock sound, which, you know, if you over a certain age like myself, that pulls you back to high school. So, anywho, he was the name that got thrown out. I believe, who else? Lizzo, Cardi B, him. I want to say, well, that's the main three I remember anyway. So, yeah, but, you know, we'll see what comes of it. Could it work? Possibly. If not, you know, yeah. What happened to remake? Because they've announced the Fresh Prince is being remade as well. They got the whole cast and everything else, which I am a little bit more interested in than The Bodyguard, because they seem to be taking it more in a dramatic direction. Same premise, you know, West Philadelphia, born and raised, but going to Bel Air, you know, less sitcom-y and more, what does that mean, like in a serious sense of like this culture clash and this class you know, difference, which they played out in the original series. But if you do that in a dramatic way, you know, that can be interesting. So maybe that's one to watch as well. I'm not sure when that one's coming out. I'm assuming it'll be on a streaming service. So if it's NBC, maybe like Peacock, maybe. So, but, you know, look up and get back to me on it. Yeah, there's a few ideas, which, you know, you'll see what they do. You never know. I just trying to climb the mountain of covering. I have nothing, and I, you know, run to you, and, you know, don't do that. Don't do that. Stay away from that. That's not good. Just, you know, you've already lost, in my opinion. So, anywho, we'll get into some more nippy news later, but right now we get to our next video. This is a duo I came across online. I believe I came across them on Yo LGBT Raps. If not there, either on LGBT Underground or Top 40 Weekly. Yeah, they can't beat that. No, they cannot. No, don't try it. That's why I said treat it less like treat it less like a Broadway show where you have to sing the same songs, and more like a evolving story where you can change the songs up every time to fit whoever the artist is or whoever the person is playing. Because, you know, everybody ain't nippy. Okay, so anyway, this duo I came across online. This duo a hybrid. It's like a rapper and a singer, R&B and hip hop. Really interesting concept for this video. Definitely funny on some spots. So we'll get into that one now. This is hybrid with contemplating. Again, this is hybrid with contemplating.
Big Kiki ma, big Kiki fear, big Kiki ma, big Kiki fear, big Kiki ma, big Kiki fear, big Kiki ma.
Bitch, this is not fucking working. You got me in this room with all this smoke, this devil worship shit. Who the fuck head is this?
You said you wanted to conjure a king. So these are the ingredients.
King? These are playing cards. These not even tarot cards.
Wait. You've been going back and forth for months now, contemplating about doing this. And now you want to back out? Try it again. Big Kiki ma, big Kiki fear, big Kiki ma, big Kiki fear, big Kiki ma, big Kiki fear, big Kiki ma!
Did it work?
I think so.
Then why he ain't warm me yet?
You ain't giving no time yet.
I've been contemplating.
I've been contemplating.
I just lay here thinking.
Thinking about you.
I just be here waiting for you tonight.
For you tonight. No.
I've been contemplating.
I've been contemplating.
I just lay here thinking.
Thinking about you.
I just be here waiting for you tonight. Now I don't really do this, but I'm ready. To do those nasty things that you said to me. Now you was all up on me heavy. But somehow can't recall that you was sexy. Yeah, all this back and forth got me feeling crazy. One day you all up on me, the next day trying to play me. I don't understand how you don't want the same thing. Loving on me every night. I want you, but I gotta leave. Got me thinking what to do. Don't know what I'm gonna do with you. No, taking this for granted. How long it take to hit me up?
Every time I think I had enough, I keep on coming back. You got some nerve. You got some nerve. I've been waiting up on you. Been waiting up on you. I think you got me real confused. It's all of these days. Find another nigga to play with. I've been contemplating. I've been contemplating. I just been thinking about you. I just been here waiting for you tonight. For you tonight. Yeah. No. I've been contemplating. I've been contemplating. I just been here thinking about you. I just been here waiting for you tonight. Contemplating my thoughts. Where the fuck did I get lost? We said no strings from the start. We both just play a part. You deal, I park. Got a handful of space, I got a hand the hearts. Hoping you renege, you got all the right cards. Or somehow go whenever, just play it smart. Had to put this shit on pause. I threatened to leave. You hit me, I answer the call. To me to be up when you off. Soon as you walk in, you breaking me off. Sing on the mic for my nigga, of course you know more. Got them vocals galore. I can go all night. You know I don't get hoarse. Satellite ride the dick just like a horse. But you never call. I hit you, you press and ignore. This ain't new to me, nigga. You done this before. Bitch, I done clean to the core. It's going on one night, ain't since 4. I'ma have to throw it in, gotta forfeit. I ain't never been the type to ever force shit. You been acting grand since I bought the force this. I'm worth 100 grand, daddy shit, boy, bitch. Bitch, you worthless, I drip, you sip. Whenever I dip, back, sip on lip. Hold on, who's that knock, bullshit. Gotta delete, erase, unsend, you know that. I ain't mean that shit, believe me. Sometimes I spaz, react reckless, and show my ass just like my keys. I've been contemplating. I just been here thinking about you. I just been here waiting for you tonight. For you tonight. Yeah. No. I've been contemplating. I've been contemplating. I just been here thinking about you. I just been here waiting for you tonight. I've been contemplating. I've been contemplating. I just been here thinking about you. I just been here waiting for you tonight. For you tonight. Yeah. No. I've been contemplating. I've been contemplating. I just been here thinking about you. I just been here waiting for you tonight.
Bitch, this shit do not fucking work. You got me in this hotel fucking room with all these candles, smoking, devilish shit. My granny wanna fucking kill me.
All right, and that was Hybrid, but Contemplating. Great song, but also even funnier skit in the beginning. They got great chemistry. Getting a few facts about Hybrid. They met at the world-renowned Cleveland School of the Arts in 2012. When they started a music career when they moved to LA. First, they started pursuing education and careers in the entertainment industry. I think they were doing their own thing separately, but then they came together. They say, this is to quote them, they went through so many different names, so we decided on Hybrid. We wanted to find a name that represented us both. Two very, very big personalities that you just saw in the video. Different but blended together to make one hell of a combination. The music has been through the personal lens of their own experiences to connect with like-minded fans, get the party hype, and to keep them buzzed for a while. So mission accomplished. They've been influenced by Outkast, Bones and Harmony, Beyonce, Nicki Minaj, Foxy Brown, Biggie, so much more than that. So yeah, you have to say that the melding of two big personalities from just judging from the video, and just that mix of like R&B and hip hop, but also like the concept of the video, that a bit of quirkiness, I guess you could say, or that kind of artistic edginess that someone like Outkast would have had, or like a say a Missy or even like a Nicki Minaj. That definitely a combination of all those different elements together. So yeah, that makes a lot of sense for that. So again, that was a Hybrid with Contemplating. You can check them out on Instagram, follow them there. I'm sure they're on Spotify and everywhere else too. So welcome to G Americana, who's joining the chat. We're playing his video not too long from now. So, and also later on we'll get to our interview with Hales as well. Also, if you're not aware, say it every show, continue to say it. We also have your official Our Sensei Show playlist. So if you have a song that possibly you put a remix out or a song out, but you don't have a video for it, you can submit it to the same email address, oursensei@gmail.com. It's oursensei@gmail.com. Put the link in there, the Spotify link. I listen to it. I update the playlist every month. I tend to only put like 25 or 30 songs on it. So not too many songs that way, if you get on that way, more like you'll get listened to rather than it being 200 songs. So submit the link. If I like it, I'll add to the list. It'll be on there for a month. Next update is on October the 1st. And then, be sure to share it and like it. That way we can spread the word about it Get more likes, get more attention to it. That way, possibly get more plays, get more of that 4% from Spotify. So there you go. So anyway, if you have a song and you want to submit it to me, same address of the videos. It's AfroSenseiShow@gmail.com. That's AfroSenseiShow at gmail.com. So, so right quick, let's see what's up next. We can get into our next artist here. Try to save the news. So, speaking of Jay Americana, this is his video gonna come up next. I said this video, different. This one definitely takes a turn, so you want to really watch it all the way through to the end. This is Jay Americana with Idle Hands. Let's get into that right now. This is Jay Americana with Idle Hands. And there was Jay Americana with Idle Hands. Told you, very interesting twist on the video. I asked him about it before the show tonight. He was saying very much inspired by horror movies and things like that, which you definitely get that vibe from it. That that sort of a jump out scares, things like that. Different than what you would expect with a song like that. Which bringing up Montero earlier, that it definitely sounded like in that same mode of like kind of bit of a rock inspired production. So it definitely fits that sound. Then melded with the video imagery, just a different take on it that you would come up with, So good execution. No pun intended. So, but a few facts about Jay Americana. He's an independent artist, making what he calls trap pop. Different sounds, different influences, using a bit of auto-tune or really abrasive beats or like a four on the floor, like more dance-oriented pop. He's born in South Georgia. He spent his years in Atlanta, which influenced his musical palette. He uses his music to kind of tell experiences about lost love, his own sexuality, about fighting depression. But he also crafts songs that convey messages of solidarity for those who may relate. Who simply appreciate great music. So good combination of all those different things, all those different influences put together, into the artist. So yeah, you can check him out again. All these artists are on IG. You look him up as J. Americana. Follow him on that. I'd like to see what he comes up with next. See if it's just as horrific as Idle Hands. It's that that contrast of like such a mellow song, but yet the sort of unsettling turn of events. Just definitely different. So, but getting back to our pop culture news, one more story before we get into part one of our interview with Hales. This is another Whitney story, so 2 for the price of 1 this week. Of course, the official biopic about Whitney, I Want to Dance with Somebody, has been in the works, and this week, Ashton Sanders, who played in Moonlight and I think Straight Outta Compton and a few other movies, has been announced as Bobby Brown for the biopic. So this is from Deadline. It says Kelsey Lemons will direct the biopic from the screenplay written by Anthony McCarthy. It's previously reported that British actress Naomi Ackie will play Houston, and so this should be joined by Ashton Sanders. And the movie is set to be released in the end of 2022, so December 2022. So we still got a ways to go on it. And I do remember liking his performance in Moonlight. I don't remember him as much in Straight Outta Compton. I'm trying to remember who he played. But he's also been in The Equalizer. He was in Native Son. He's also in 2021's Judas and the Black Messiah, which I still haven't seen yet. But also he's currently playing RZA in the Hulu series Wu-Tang American Saga. So he's used to, he knows the ropes of the music biopic territory. So that's promising as well. And then, I give him a chance. Again, it's been a lot of a lot of chatter, to say at least among the community about who's playing Whitney and who's playing Bobby and so on. But I feel like with Clive at the helm of it, because Clive was always so protective of Whitney's and has been so protective of Whitney's legacy and who she was as an artist. I feel like it's we can still be cautiously optimistic that there will be something that's worth watching. And speaking of Clive, actually today it was announced that Stanley Tucci will be portraying Clive in the movie, which I think is a good sign. He was in The Devil Wears Prada, and he's also been in Hunger Games, and he's been in he gets around in terms of playing different roles, a real character actor. So I think that's definitely a promising sign that he was signing on to play Clive, and it looks like it's shaping up to be something that's going to be good and worthy of Whitney's legacy. So who else they got to cast? I wonder if they'll cast Sissy, the one who play her. I think they cast Robin already. I can't think of the actress' name who's playing Robin, but I think she's already been cast. And they cast somebody else too, somebody who played like a role early on in Whitney's career. I believe it was like an early producer or songwriter. I can't think of his name, but so it is that. But that fact again, that shows that they're going to really like dig into her life, not about the less the unpleasant parts of her story, but they seem to be also focus on the music and how she sort of in the come up before the fame and everything else happened. So that's again, all that seems very promising. I wonder if they're gonna have him play Jermaine. They had a little thing back in the day, but I doubt it. And I do hope they also use Robin's book as a good source material, because if you hadn't read Robin's book about Whitney or about her life and Whitney's life and her life with Whitney, working for Whitney and all that stuff, it's a good. I think all the books have been written, because there's one written by BB Winans, and there's one written by her mother. I feel like Robin's book has the best take because this is the most objective, because she was close, obviously, in the inner circle for a very long time, but at the same time she wasn't a family, so she had a bit of enough distance to kind of view things in a different way maybe than anybody else would have viewed them. So just my opinion, but definitely a book to check out, and hopefully the movie will live up to that where it's a mix of like not shying away from the unpleasant parts of her story, but also at the same time not making that sensational or the only part of the story focuses on, because they've been documentaries about it, and you have Bobby's movie from his point of view. So just give Whitney her due, and then maybe be done with it. So But now, with that said, let's get into our interview of the night. This is with an artist. Like again, we played her videos before on here. We played her video for Escape not too long ago, and it's a great video. And this with the artist Hales. There's a few facts about Hales before we get into the video. She's an R&B singer. She's based out of Brooklyn, New York, by way of Kansas City. She also has a big love of neo soul, alternative acoustic sounds. She's very influenced by the Soulquarians. If you open your early 2000s R&B, Erykah Badu, D'Angelo, Lauryn Hill, but also influenced by people like Frank Ocean and Leanne LaHavis. So all that comes out in her music, and we talked about that in the interview. So let's get into that right now. This is part one of the interview with Hales. All right, so I'm here with Hales. How are you doing today?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm doing fine. You're on set right now, so get right into the interview. Now you're based in New York now, but you're a native of Kansas City. So what was that like growing up in Kansas City? How did it impact you as an artist?
So the area that I grew up in was very white, not diverse at all, but all of my culture, all of my music taste came from my parents. I grew up listening to Lauryn Hill, Jill Scott, Luther Vandross, all the classics. So I feel like who I am as an artist was directly impacted by the music that my parents listened to and what they like had on when we were growing up.
Okay, all right. What was the first song you wrote, and what was it about?
The first song that I wrote for real was Escape, actually. And I wrote it on the train on the way. At the time, I was working as a trainer at this gym. So I would have to wake up at like 4 a.m. in the morning to get on the train to go to this job. And I had started talking to someone at the time. So, you know, those like butterfly feelings that you have in your stomach, like when you first get to know someone. Yeah, that's literally what I wrote it about on the train at like 5 in the morning.
Okay. Is that the typical songwriting process? Does it come that fast, or is it different every time? Or
Honestly, it's different every time. That one came quick though. Like it for me, it usually comes like in 20 minutes I can write a whole song, or it'll take like 2 months. There's like no in between time for me. It's like either super quick or really slow.
oh, okay, all right, yeah, I get that sometimes too. Yeah, so
Yeah.
I understand that. You mentioned your influences. You said Erykah Badu, you said D'Angelo, Luther Vandross, also Lauryn Hill.
Yes.
So what was it about their music that spoke to you?
I think the tone of their voice, the rhythms that they like, the drums. I connect super heavy to drum sounds. So like also, I mean, D'Angelo for me is like GOAT. Like the tone of his voice, the things that he talks about, like Betray My Heart is like one of my favorite songs of all time. So just the content of their lyrics along with like the tone of their voice, that draws me in immediately.
That kind of leads into my next question. What are your thoughts on the current state of R&B?
I feel like this is like a constant conversation, but honestly, I love R&B right now. Like I feel like it's innovative. It's taking from like the roots of like the old stuff and putting a new flair on it, and I love it. Like artists, I don't know if you know Alex Isley. You gotta look her up. She is incredible. She's incredible. She's also like a descendant of the Isley brothers, so that gives you some context.
Okay, all right.
Also, you said you're in Louisiana.
Yes,
so I'm sure you're familiar with Tank and the Bangers.
Yes.
Like I feel like there's such innovative, incredible things happening with R&B right now, and I think the time we're in allows artists space to do that. Like people aren't trying to confine themselves in these boxes anymore. It's like being Black, I feel like we all have that like soulful root, but we don't have to just stay in that, you know? So I mean, I love all the R&B that's being made right now, but I also will always revisit the old stuff.
So getting to, you mentioned like being in a box and like how it sort of affects us as a Black artist. How do you feel being open about your sexuality has affected your art?
Honestly, I feel the more open that I allow myself to be about who I am, it helps me connect to people more. Like it has never felt like a hindrance. I feel like the more authentic and the more willing you are to put yourself out there, that's where you find, you know, the people who really connect to your music. That's where you find the people who are going to like really rock with you. And that's what I found so far. So I've been very lucky in that aspect.
Tired of looking like SpongeBob SquarePants? Does lumpy and bumpy describe your hip pads? Are your hips serving Christmas dinner? Are you paying too much for crusty old couch cushions? DragOnABudget.com has the answer. Hashtag Body by Dementia. Body by Dementia. Body by Dementia. The #1 hip pads and stuffed bra seller on your neighbor's internet. Our hips come in 3 sizes. Small for a subtle look, medium for a more curvy option, and our custom size for those that need a more precise fit. Go to DragOnABudget.com and order yours today. DragOnABudget.com, the one-stop shop for all your drag needs. For queens, kings, and everyone in between. Since 1915. Shit, I mean 1925? 2015.
Body by Dementia, your pads look like trash.
Yeah, welcome back. That was part 1 of our interview with Hales. I actually very happy that she had time to sit down with us. Actually, we almost missed it that day because I forgot, because she's from Kansas City, as she said in that interview segment right there. So I assumed that we were on the same time zone. So originally we had scheduled for 6:30. Then at 6:30, it's about to be 6:30. That I saw an email that she sent me saying she already had sat down for the Zoom interview at 5:30, but then she had to go back to work. And I was like, oh, she missed that. I thought you were on the same time schedule. She's like, no. And then she said, oh, I forgot I live in New York. I was like, oh, that's right. You do live in New York. So then fortunately, she got about 20 minutes so she could like steal away and duck off somewhere while they were having rehearsal for a production that she's in. And we sat down and got the interview. So, crisis averted. So yeah, just a little behind the scenes action. So, and she was a wonderful interview. Like I said, in part 2, we'll get a little bit more into her own music and just more into the inspiration behind her video for Escape, which you haven't watched it. Of course, you can pull up on YouTube and watch it. It's a good video, and just her inspiration and what was her thought process going into that. So stay tuned for that as well. But getting into more music now. This is another discussion that's kind of been. I thought it would die down, but it's still bubbling up. So verses have been a thing since the panorama, or aka the pandemic, has been in effect, and you've seen ones like Patti LaBelle versus Gladys Knight, SWV versus Escape, things like just legendary artists going up against each other and playing in their catalog, and less of a battle and more of a just sharing legacies basically and celebrating the legacies of artists. Now, Jermaine Dupri mentioned Jermaine Dupri mentioned he wanted to go up against Diddy, and to which Diddy responded, basically, I love you, my brother, but we are not the same. Let me see if I can find the quote. It's Love B. Scott. Let's see. Okay. He responded to Dupri. He said, beloved, you're my dude, but your arm is too short to box with God. You ain't got enough hits. I'll smash you with Best Biggie and Mary, but I do have the utmost respect on you as a musical legend. And he's finished with a response by naming the only person he thinks is weird to get in the ring with is Dre, basically. He says, Dre is the only one that can get with me in the ring with me. Love. He responded right back to Diddy, adding, don't get nothing straightened. Don't get nothing straightened, but straightening. So, all right. So, and then he has a new album called Off the Grid, and it's going to be out this year or whatever. Okay. So, my thoughts on that, and then other people come chiming in saying it was Steve Stout said, who's a music executive, been around in the business for a long time, allegedly told Jermaine Dupri that his catalog has no impact. And for those who don't know, this is this is a taste of his catalog. Always Be My Baby, Mariah, Just Kicking It with Escape, My Way, Nice and Slow, You Got It Bad, most of the Confessions album, most of the Emancipation of Me. He just produced a track for Ari Lennox. So I can keep Jagged Edge. I can keep going. So to say that it has no impact, that's that bullshit, first of all. And then second of all, if we really want to get into the true tea, I've been debating what to say, but I'm going to go ahead and say it. Jermaine Dupri has more in common with Dr. Dre than Diddy does. Now, Diddy may have more quote unquote hits when you talk about hip hop, but Jermaine Dupri and Dr. Dre are more producers in the traditional sense of the word. Meaning, if you put Jermaine Dupri and Dr. Dre in the room and say, sit at the boards, sit at the keyboard, MIDI keyboard, some instruments, whatever, or give us some musicians and create some music or sample something and write some lyrics and make a hit, they could do that. Diddy, if being real, not so much. Diddy is a producer in the sense that he can say, okay, this artist goes with this songwriter or these songwriters, we can get this producer on this track and put it all together. Like when you watch Mary's documentary, My Life, the one she has put out, when it was time to talk about the tracks, we went to, they didn't go to Puffy of Diddy, Love. They went to Chucky Thompson, who has sadly passed. But my point is they went to Big Bub, who wrote a bunch of songs with Mary for that album. That when it comes to actually creating the music, he don't do that. He curates. He doesn't necessarily create. Jermaine Dupri creates. Like he writes. Jermaine Dupri is the one that's in the Songwriters Hall of Fame when she pointed out once people try to come for him. Like he's saying, I'm in there with Jay-Z and Mariah. Like Diddy ain't in there. To quote Jermaine Dupri, he can't pay for that seat. So quiet as it's kept, Jermaine Dupri has more in common with Dre than Diddy, and also sonically, Diddy don't have nothing in common with. That's two totally different soundscapes. Which Diddy AKA is a glorified A&R, which facts, but not to dismiss A&R because that's an important thing. Like I said, that takes a vision to see like an artist like Mary J. Blige, who at the time they didn't know what to do with, take that and help make her into what she's become. Same with Jodeci, same with Biggie or Faith Evans, or like that takes a vision, but it's not the same as sitting at the board or getting with a group of musicians and putting pen and pad and writing lyrics. That's two different things. It's a different skill set. This is. Say what you want. I'm just saying that put some respect in that man's name, aka Jermaine Dupri's name. Some of you can just watch somebody. Just I think people dismiss him because of like him working with Chris Cross and working with Bow Wow, working with kids. Basically, that's why people dismiss him because you work with that's how you work. We just work with kids or with the Brat. She was too talented, but she never like broke through in the same way that some of the male rappers did. And also, I think some of it has to do with the fact that it's just that that some of that New York mentality. Oh, that's down south. They don't have that impact like New York does. But don't do that. Don't sleep. Like I said, you think you don't know hits he's produced, but you think about the last 30 years of music. Like I said, Escape, Mariah, Usher, TLC, Kick Your Game. Not a huge hit as Creep, but everybody knows that song. It's one of those. It's one of the songs that has a impact. Keep going down the list. Like I said, Jagged Edge, and he's still producing. Like he just produced Orleans' new single, Pressure. So again, Diddy just fall back. That's my advice, because you could play those hits, but it's more of a, these are my hits, not my hits. If the gesturing makes sense. So, anywho, and that's that on that. So, what's the next video story? All right, we'll get to that later. So up next we got and anybody, if y'all disagree or you agree, feel free to debate in the comments or ask me something. So but that's how I feel about it. Just Diddy has a unique memory of his track record and history. I don't know, just my opinion. Anywho, so let's get into this next artist. This is a rap artist I think I came across her on Your LGBT Raps, I believe. So this is LG, also known as Team Genius, with the track Drippin'. So let's get into that right now. This is LG with Team Genius with Drippin'.
Pull up in the street with that door. Know we bring the heat to our shows. Stacking all the racks of our gold. Trippin', trippin'.
Pull up on the track like.
Pull up in the street with that door. Know we bring the heat to our show. Sacking all the racks of our gold. Trippin', trippin', trippin'. Pull up in the street with that door. Know we bring the heat to our show. Sacking all the racks of our gold.
Pull up on the track like.
Personality split, bitch. I ain't talking about the movie Split, bitch. Hit your bitch and then I split, bitch, cause you know she wanna have a picnic. No, I'm tripping off the fifth, bitch. Better watch your step like a Fitbit. AI with the crossover, man. I bet you couldn't do it this quick. And you cannot fit in my shoes. No, Bigfoot couldn't fit this. Light the tree like it's Christmas, cause our presence is always a gift, bitch. Smoking the air cause it's lit, bitch. Mix the Henny with the mystic. I can tell she a freak by a lipstick. And the boyfriend looking like a dipshit. I'm like, wiggity wild, wild, wiggity wild. It's about to go down. She on the float now. Shaking it wild, cause she a pro now. Bass in the trunk loud. They know the sound. When I'm in your town, we bout to hold round. Just turn up, always the toes down. If I get that, she be with that, with that. If I rip that, she gon' hit back, hit back. I'ma grip that, sit back, make it split, splash, split, flat. Hit her up, break her off like a Kit Kat, whoa.
Pull up in the street with that door. Know we bring the heat to our show. Sacking all the racks of our gold. Trippin', trippin', trippin'. Pull up in the street with that door. Know we bring the heat to our show. Sacking all the racks of our gold.
Pull up on the track
I
like.
need a huge house in the Hidden Hills. I took small decks and made bigger deals. Cook up hot singles over the block singing. If it go platinum, that's a dinner meal. Niggas sleeping on me, that's the Benadryl. But it only show me how them niggas feel. If a nigga meet you and he don't like you, then he probably worried that his bitches will. What his bitches do. Cause the Instagram follow really like an interview. Too many double taps, make you double back. Like I really think this chick is into you. You know the DMs and the PM is an invitation to get physical. If you really think the bar's difficult, let me break it down by the syllable. I'm like wiggity wild, wild, wiggity wild. It's about to go down. She on the float now, shaking it wild. Guess she a pro now. Bass in the trunk loud. They know the sound. When I'm in your town, we bout to hold round. Just turn up, always the toes down. If I get that, she be with that, with that. If I rip that, she gon' hit back, hit back. I'ma grip that, sit back, make it split, splash, split, flat. Hit her up, break her off like a Kit Kat, whoa.
Pull up in the street with that door. Know we bring the heat to our show. Sacking all the racks of our gold. Trippin', trippin', trippin'. Pull up in the street with that door. Know we bring the heat to our show. Sacking all the racks of our gold.
Pull up on the track like.
Pull up in the street with that door. Know we bring the heat to our show. Sacking all the racks of our gold. Trippin', 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 trippin'.
Pull up on the track like.
All right, and that was Genius with or Team Genius, aka LG, with Drippin'. I like her way she approached her flow on that. The cadence she uses is, very intricate. Because most people probably would just be like but to kind of play with different rhyme schemes and be like go all around the beat and inside the beat. That's a different approach that elevated the song to me, in my opinion. So again, that was LG with Drippin'. A few facts about Miss LG. She's right here. She started at age 12 when her mother brought her a Pro Tools DJ Design box and an Apple G5 tower so she could record her own songs. At that point, she realized music was what she wanted to do. Well, professional level, she recorded 8 songs a day sometimes, so very prolific. Her mother also taught her the fundamentals of freestyling, showing how to string words together and the basis of structuring a song. Her freestyling prowess landed her a significant East Coast radio station plays, including support from Power 99 FM, 1039 Hip Hop from Boom Philly, Hot 97, and for good reason. So, and again, like I said, she is on Instagram as LG Team Genius. So just look her up and follow her. The color scheme, as Bruce pointed out, definitely feels very Crush on You Kim inspired, which I think I've seen it in a few videos we play here. That kind of like really bright monochromatic scheme of like just using different colors. Like it's a great concept because it's very it's bright and it's fun, but at the same time it's like it's kind of cool and artistic at the same time. So yeah, definitely that 90s Kim is a good low song to draw from. So definitely that. Let's see. We can get now I saved the next topic. We get right into our next video. Yes, it is very effective. Yes, simple but effective. I think it's the main thing because it's colorful, but at the same time, it's like it's you can find different. It's not too hard to make to everything be one color and everybody wear the same clothes and then just kind of do a little It's simple but effective. So yes, definitely very much that, to quote Monique Hart. Oh, actually, speaking of Monique Hart, if you saw her IG post today, she's working with Lil Nas X on something. I glanced at the headline. I didn't get a chance to read the whole thing. I believe it's for her show, something with so I guess like a little comedy segment that they're doing together. Yeah, which a lot of denim, lighten up fashionable denim, but I noticed it was like a whole lot of denim, which between them and Steve Harvey, like I guess denim is like trying to make a comeback. Maybe perhaps because Steve was denim. But Steve you kind of expect, because that's like black uncle wardrobe, where if it's not a fedora and some in a short set, then it's like denim. Yeah, you expect that with some Stacey Adams at the bottom, like probably it's like blue denim with like some let's say like a tan Stacey Adams. Or gator, if you like the fancy uncle, because you got different types of uncles. You got like the short set uncle with a little fedora. Maybe he wore a little fedora white in the summertime, where that's like his version of fancy. Then you got the bright colorful uncle, where it's like gold tip shoes with like probably like maybe some gators, 1 or 2 pairs of those, with like purple, like wearing like purples and lots of like yellows and greens and stuff, with like leopard prints, or like the Versace prints. with the silk shirts, them type of uncles. Then you got like the conservative uncle, where his thing is like if he wears blue, that's out the box for him. That's it. That's his fancy. A nice navy blue. And typically when I would work in retail, that's how I could tell when they would come in what type of guy they were, how they greeted me. If they said, "What's up, young blood?" then that was the type that wear the gators and the bright colors. If they said, "How are you, young man?" then that's more conservative. Probably a preacher, or a guy who just his suit collection colors will either be black, gray, brown. And if you want to get fancy, a blue. And then if he greeted me like, "Well, how are you today, young sir?" then he family, but older family, mature family, because they talk to you like to go on a journey. So then anything kind of goes. Not not how we do. So, but anywho, I don't know what prompted that aside, but I mean, based on my own, cell to cell research, that's why I gleaned from it, black uncledom. So we can get into our next video. But I think it's after that rabbit hole rant. I mean, yes, it is true. Yes, truth indeed. Yes, absolutely. Fedoras, short sets, all that. Patterns with the short sets. Usually, if it's not all white, usually it's like a black and white. It's wintertime. It's fall time, so now you're gonna see a lot of orange and browns with like a long sleeve shirt, possibly leather, with some pants. It happens. Definitely. So, anywho, we get into our next video. This is by that gay rapper, aka Mel Lennon. I like how the way this video kind of develops. It's one of those where it's like, it actually reminds me a bit of like a old Janet video, where like the camera would follow her throughout the whole thing, like All Right, or like When I Think of You, that type of deal in a way. But you'll see in a second. This is Mel Lennon with Work. So let's get into that right now. This is Mel Lennon with Work.
Can you call it color? People time can't be mad that I've been arriving late since summer 89. But I heard that I just might make more excuses than politician call line. My mottos, we can do that motherfucker shit to my man. Like, everything's fine. Treat my haters like they selling me, calling me. I put them all on silent, yeah. Boyfriend think that I'm depressed like a zipper. Then he quote Dolly while pouring out liquor. Maybe just trying to live spirits, but feel like my purpose ain't being fulfilled. And have you ever felt something that's meant for you too? And maybe that's you and I, boo. I just need a check. Okay, quite a few live my truth, which means it must come with a view. I've been up all night trying to figure out why the fuck ain't rich. And when my friends all tell me about myself, I tell them all they a bitch. Like I gotta get my act together if I'm gonna make it. Well, watch me work, keep working on my shit. Now watch me work till I get it, cause it's all for me. And nothing's free unless you show them you will come out the D. And know that some things can't be bought, that's sweat equity. Now watch me work till I get that big house up in the shit D. So watch me work, won't stop till I quit. So watch me work, won't quit till I win. So watch me work, and keep it legit. Now watch me work in this bitch. Now watch me. Blame patriarchy, know these roadmaps meant to block me, but I'm in my live now, and the top's where they'll drop me, and I'm secure like out of bags. I ain't trying to be funny, can't get back to my community if I ain't got no money, cause they take all our culture and amplify gangs like nobody else spitting game. And I am not judging, no grudging the thug, cause I fucking wish that I sold me some drugs. Cause yeah, I'm clocking for that W2 to get what you tell me I'm worth it to you, but you say no my worth, and so I'm confused cause these pennies aren't cool with me, dude. So I've been up all night trying to figure out why the fuck I ain't rich. And when my friends all tell me about myself, they making sure I don't quit. Like I gotta get my act together if I'm gonna make it. Well, watch me work, keep working on my shit. Now watch me work till I get it, cause it's all for me. And nothing's free unless you show them you will come out the D. And know that some things can't be bought, that's sweat equity. Now watch me work till I get that penthouse up in the shit D. So watch me work, won't stop till I quit. So watch me work, won't quit till I win. Now watch me work, and keep it legit. Now watch me work in this bitch. Now watch me. If it's worth it, fuck that, yeah, no I ain't worth it. Yeah, Brittany told me, like, you better work, bitch, and I've been working. So like, I've been up all night trying to figure out why the fuck I ain't rich. And when my friends all tell me about myself, they're like, okay, get it, like, fuck having it all together, bitch, I'm gonna fake it. Now watch me work, keep working on my shit. Now watch me work till I get it, cause it's all for me. And nothing's free unless you show them you will come out the D. And know that some things can't be bought, that's sweat equity. Now watch me work till I get that big hash up in the shit D. So watch me work, won't stop till I quit. Now watch me work, won't quit till I win. Now watch me work, and keep it legit. Now watch me work in this bitch. Now watch me.
All right, and that was Mel Lynn, aka the gay rapper with work. So, yeah, like I said, now you see what I was talking about, where like it sort of followed, the camera follows throughout the whole video, like a Janet Jackson, like all right, like when I think of you, that whole like sort of like a follow on the journey, so to speak, and definitely in that vibe. I'm wonder if that was an inspiration for that. I don't know, but definitely great choreo, great lighting and everything, like a whole mood, as the kids say. Like I love that the whole look of it, the whole visual effect of it. It's a great one. A few facts about Mel. He's a native of nowhere, which I love that. He's born to an American family in Europe and spent his childhood around the world. So a traveler, rapper, singer, songwriter, producer. He likes to bend genres, and that definitely fits in that track. You know, like ballroom house vibes, but also with a little bit of hip hop influence as well. Building pop, lyric intensive hip hop. He started his career as a producer, and then as an artist. His debut single and EP, All This, is in conjunction with all his features, working with other LGBTQ artists. He also produced the hit Love Elevator for FD Bordeaux, featuring internet favorite Duran Bernard. His debut is written, produced, and performed, all self-written, also produced, and all performed by him, which is great. Oh, UK, well, I mean, he's a citizen of the world, so I would say you probably get bits and pieces from different places. I would think so. Yeah, probably a mix of things, mix of influences. So you kind of, yeah, maybe UK, a little bit of a two-step vibe to it, a two-step garage, which is a terrible accent I just did, but you know that whole deal. I can see the bits and pieces of that. So different influences. I think that's what makes it interesting, along with the visual component. So again, that was Mel Lennon with work. So you can follow him. His hashtag is his handle is the gay rapper, that gay rapper, on IG and probably other places as well. You can look him up on Spotify and different places. So as Mel Lennon though, but his IG handle is that gay rapper. So again, great video and great song too, very catchy. So about as we enter into the coolness of fall. So getting back into another hot debate. This one has been going on all week. I guess we'll about it by next week, hopefully. So the question has been posed. I'm assuming, I guess, by different media outlets. I'm not sure how it started. Maybe it started with Drizzy himself. Well, you're welcome. You're welcome. Yeah. Oh, Germany. Okay. Oh, Germany. Okay. All right. Still Europe, but off a little bit. But yes. Okay. Yeah, Germany. All right. And you're welcome. Yes. This story started somewhere and it's been going all week. So the question has been posed: is Drake bigger than Michael Jackson? This always question from Rap TV. So it's been trending. Everybody's been jibber jabbing about it. So with Drake, he's recently filed a new album, Certified Lover Boy, and Billboard pointed out that MJ's Hot 100 record for the most popular hits from the same album was untouched for 37 years, along the Beatles record. But when the new album came out from Drake, you had, I believe it was 5 number one spots at the top at the Hot 100 chart, time with the Beatles, and while he had 9 tracks to occupy the top 10 to break Jackson's record, to break Michael's record. So basically, that's the jumping off point for the conversation of is Drake at his current popularity, is he more popular than Michael was at his peak? To which I would say no, because. And it's been a bit debate because some people automatically dismiss streaming and things like that, which I don't, because that's the way people consume music now. I know back in the day, of course, you had to go out and buy the album, so that's a different thing. It's a different metric of like how people could really measure popularity. But I would not say Drake is bigger than Michael, because Michael's heyday was at a time where there was on so much media. It was so much things were a little bit more limited in terms of what you could consume. Like everybody watched the same 3 channels. Everybody watched, not everybody, but if you had MTV or BET, then you could watch that. And the way to find, and everybody has a certain radio station, so it was only a certain ways you could find out about different artists and different music. And so in that landscape, it's just my opinion, because I got to a long debate with somebody on Facebook. In my opinion, the fact that you had limited media access to things and everybody had to consume virtually the same media, meaning was that for the artist that was successful, which would be Michael in this case, you couldn't avoid him even if you wanted to. Like if someone is that successful and they're on MTV all the time, they're on, I'm assuming, BET all the time, they're on the radio all the time with 7 top 10 singles from one album, they're on the radio all the time, they're when the show, you see them everywhere, newspapers, magazines, everywhere else. And so you can't really, even if you don't like it, if somebody hated it, they couldn't avoid it. And so that level of ubiquity from limited media was more possible then, because everybody consuming the same thing, along with just them being fantastic songs and MTV becoming a thing. And it was a perfect storm of things that made Thriller what it was. But I think part of what made him so huge, was because it was limited media access, limited media at the time. Now, of course, everybody has media's everywhere. That if there's 50-11 streaming services, there are how many different channels, like everything's so fractured now that I don't know if a current artist could reach that same level of ubiquity that Michael reached. Yeah, oh yeah. Okay, yeah. No one is fainting when they see Drake. Yes, yeah. Nobody passing out when they see Drake. Even nobody is like, you don't have to break with smelling sauce whenever you play nonstop. You don't. or God's plan. Like if people ain't passing out when they hear that. I mean, people get hyped. Like that's nothing against Drake, because I mean to maintain the stats that he has for almost going on 12 years now since So Far Gone dropped. That's not a small feat, especially now because, like I say, everything is so fractured, and people do consume things so fast. To keep up with that at the pace of consumption for this long and to be as consistently successful, that's not a small feat. But I wouldn't put that on Microsoft because, like I said, people passing out, people needing the paramedics, and people like get outside the hotel room window to scream all night, and that that's a whole other level of name recognition. That's next level. And like I said, because of how things were in his heyday, at his height, I don't necessarily know if that could exist again. I think that the person that comes close to that in this generation, I believe, will be Beyonce, in terms of like international appeal. And then Rihanna's pretty big too, but I would give it more so to Beyonce in terms of, because Rihanna she's definitely branched out more into being a businesswoman and more so in music at this point. But in terms of primarily being known for music, I would give it to Beyonce over Drake in terms of even approaching that level of celebrity. But again, I don't think that's possible in this current day and age. So yeah, I always say, okay, MJ's music videos alone, where everything is influenced, underrated. Yeah. I mean, again, yeah, like I said, I think it was like a perfect storm because with MTV being a new thing, those videos, and again, the fact that you had to sit and watch them on TV, you couldn't like say, oh, well, I'll pull up on YouTube tomorrow on my phone. No, you had to sit down and watch. Really, you had to sit down and watch Black or White, and Bad and whatever else. Like they were cultural events because everybody was kind of forced to go shoot in the same spot. Nowadays, it's like a video premieres is like, oh, okay, well, I'll pull up on my phone later and watch it while I'm at work, or I'll, listen to the album whenever, maybe I like 2 or 3 songs on it, and I can discard the rest. Or even if you don't like something now, it's easier to avoid mainstream popular culture in a way that it wasn't necessarily in Michael's heyday, in my opinion. And that's why he was able to get that famous and maintain that and maintain that sort of ubiquity because he made that initial impression. And I don't necessarily think that Drake could do that. And in terms of talent, Man in the Mirror, yes, Jamon, yes. I think Drake could just achieve that because, and also, I don't know, just in terms of like skill set, I was also give that to Michael because singing, dancing, writing, producing, Michael kind of takes that over Drake. The stats are there, but like it to really say that to claim that crown, it goes beyond just stats and sales. It's something else. And Drake has had an influence. He's had an impact, but like I said, Michael, when you get to like the biggies, not Biggie, but like the big pop stars like Michael, even the Beatles, even though I don't listen to them all that much, blasphemy, I don't listen to the Beatles that much, but even though I recognize the influence, when you get to like the Beatles, the Stones, a Diana Ross, and Aretha Franklin, a Michael, a Prince, a Whitney, a Madonna, a Janet, that goes beyond just sales. That's something else. So no, I would not put Drizzy on top of Michael. Not at this point. You got, you got work to do, if you know where that reference is from. Oliver and Company. No. So yeah, no, yeah. But anyway, but if you, I think y'all made yourselves known and comment your opinions on that as well. So yeah, where these debates come from, they I guess they're good to get everybody talking. I think it's because of several lines he put in the album about I'm saying I'm Michael Jackson, Man in the Mirror, I'm going platinum, something like that. Some sort of lines like that, I guess hinting at the records being broken, and he even got a tattoo of himself like waving at the Beatles, Which, a side note, real quick before we get into part 2 of other interview with Hales on Drake's tattoos, they are so disorganized, and it doesn't make sense to me because every other part of his life, like his marketing and the image and everything else, everything is so tightly curated and organized and precise, and when the tattoos are just messy. It's like it's just like, oh, I'll get a tattoo of Leah, and then I get one of my mom and my dad. I get one of me waving at the Beatles on Abbey Road and shit. Then I get some other shit on my back. I just out anyway. It's not neat. You know, it's I don't know. It vexes me, for lack of a better word. Anywho, let's get into part 2 of our interview with Hales. We talk about, like I said, her video for Escape and inspiration behind that, any projects she has coming up, and more of that stuff. So let's get into part 2 of the interview with Hales. I guess get into like the movie you made from Kansas City to New York City. What was that like, the initial arriving in New York and sort of figuring out what you want to do? What was that like, that initial experience?
So it was definitely a culture shock. I went to college for a year and a half in Pittsburgh. So that was like my in-between, right? So I went from Kansas City to Pittsburgh, and I thought that Pittsburgh was New York City. And now knowing that, it is not at all. It is so tiny, but like coming from such like a small town, I was like, anything outside of that is like, oh my God, this is a different world. So actually I left school to tour with a musical, and then I moved to New York right after that. So the transition was a little easier because I had already like then seen most of the country at that time. All of my friends who I was on tour with came from New York, so it was like a really nice adjustment. But how I kind of started in the music world was through musical theater, so singing, acting, and dancing. That's what I'm doing right now. I'm on tour with a show called Hadestown.
Okay.
But I think seeing the musical theater side of things gave me a good intro, but also it gave me the desire to want to tell my own stories. So kind of breaking out of that, especially when the pandemic happened, when everything was shut down, we couldn't do anything. I was like, okay, this is my time to like tap in. What do I want to talk about? What kind of sounds, what kind of themes am I drawn to? But New York like definitely grew me up in that way and gave me like all the musicians, all the people I create with. New York gave me all of that. So grateful.
And you mentioned, of course, musical theater, which involves, you mentioned singing, you mentioned dancing, acting. So what for you was like your favorite creative expression, or what things that you draw from for each one? I know it's 2 separate questions, but
honestly, all of it. Like I've connected so much to songwriting and the fact that I can tell my own stories, but I started dancing. Like that was kind of the first thing I ever did. My parents put me in dance when I was 2 years old. So, but to me, it also goes hand in hand. Like to me, there is no movement without the music. There's no music without movement. Like I hear something immediately, if it like makes me move, it makes me dance, I'm like, this is a good fucking song. So I feel like it's helped me in my songwriting. It's helped me be a better musician because I'm like tapped into what do I want to move to? What will other people connect to moving? Even when I'm performing live, like the two are married. There's no separating that for me.
Okay. Going back to the songwriting and specifically Escape, not so much the song, well, the song itself is great, but the video, when I first watched the video, I was like, what's this about? What's going on? So what went into the concept of the video, just thinking about what was inspiration?
So honestly, initially when I was writing it, I had like a whole different concept in my mind. I was like, it just seems like, flowers and like something pretty, like an escape. But then I got high one night and I was like, oh my gosh, it needs to be the exact opposite of what I want to do. Because to me, that just makes it more interesting. So of course we were in quarantine and I thought of the ideas of chaos and isolation and how like in my mind, I was always trying to run from these things, but it's when I like sat with it and kind of just like accepted it is when I felt more free. So that's why the rabbits in the video, the back of their jackets say chaos and isolation. So it's basically like this whole internal thing. So it's really like all in my mind, but in a physical experience, if that makes sense.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah,
it was a very high concept.
Yeah, but I get it, especially when you broke it down like that how sitting with your fears can help you kind of face them and resolve them. Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. Yeah, definitely. I get it now. Yeah, but the rappers definitely gave me us vibes for a second. So
Right?
yeah.
Very us, Alice in Wonderland, kind of. That was definitely the vibe.
Yeah, it turned out really well. So,
Thank you.
what are your top 3 dream collaborations? Anybody, could be living, dead. Doesn't matter.
Sid from the internet.
Okay. Yeah.
Kaylani.
Okay.
Like these are people that I like when I'm like, who would I want to open for on tour? Those are like the 2 that come to mind. The third one, Frank Ocean.
Oh. Yeah.
Those are the top 3 that come to my mind immediately.
Yeah. I see all 3 of those make really meshing well together. So yeah, definitely.
Yes.
Yeah. What can now? Escape is out now, and the video is out now. What can we expect from you as far as, like, is that part of like a EP or an album, or is it just a single for now?
So during this quarantine time, I wrote so many songs. So I have like 45, 50 plus songs. So right now I'm working on finishing all of that and putting it into an album that will be called Good Things Take Time. But I have other singles out on DSPs. My most recent song is called Not Perfect, but I'm on all the DSPs, so people can listen to that while they wait for the album.
Okay. And does it have you still like a release date, or you still kind of in the works? Or?
No release date, especially since now I'm on tour. It's a little more difficult, but I think in the next year for sure.
Okay.
Yeah.
And you kind of asked my question about the project itself coming up. Where can people find you online? Just
So all of my social media is at HAILESYES, Hales Yes, on everything. And then on Spotify, Apple Music, Tidal, all that shit under the name of Hales, HAILES.
All right. Well, I thank you for sitting down with me. You're busy. Get back to the theater.
Of course.
So,
thank you for having me. Hi.
Hey, how you doing?
I'm good. How are you? I am so sorry. I should have asked what time zone you were in before.
Yeah, I didn't think about that either. For some reason, I said Kansas City from the bio, but then there's New York. So yeah, but we can get right. Yeah.
Oh my god. Oh my god. One of my castmates put a fake roach on my.
And that was part 2 of the interview with Hales. Like I said, had a little hectic getting her back, getting her with us in the beginning, but we got together and had a great talk, great interview. She's a great artist. If you hadn't seen it before, Escape, like I said, out now on YouTube. Great video, great concept. Song great as well. She has a few more songs out on YouTube and Spotify and YouTube Music, Spotify. Any other streaming platforms, you want to check those out as well. They're also good songs. And you can definitely hear the influence of Lauryn Hill and D'Angelo and Erykah Badu and those that sort of old school influence, but also a new school approach and vibe to it. So that combination is really, it's there in the music. So yeah, and of course, open doing more interviews, open doing more stuff. So with different artists. So look out for more of that as well too. We can get into our next video of the night. This is a song came across during the summertime. It has like a summertime vibe to it, but it's good for the fall too. Back to school time, I guess, or in school time, at least in Louisiana. This artist came across. This artist's name, She Real, and this video is called "Beautiful Day." So let's get to that right now. This is She Real and "Beautiful Day."
It's a beautiful day in black neighborhoods. A beautiful day to be black. It's a beautiful day in black neighborhoods. It's a beautiful day to be black.
It's a beautiful day in black neighborhoods. It's a beautiful day to be black.
Such a beautiful day, yeah. It's such a beautiful day, yeah. It's such a beautiful day, yeah. It's such a beautiful day in black neighborhoods. It's such a beautiful day to be black, It's such a beautiful day in black neighborhoods. It's such a beautiful day to be black, It's such a beautiful day, yeah. 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 It's such a beautiful day in black neighborhoods. It's such a beautiful day to be black, It's such a beautiful day in black neighborhoods. It's such a beautiful day to be black, yeah. Time to talk, yo. Youngin', break out the cars, break out the stars, break out the pretty women with natural bras, break out the proud brothers with natural flaws. Wave spinning, stay dripping from head to toe. Kids running with the ices like Eskimos. When you see them haters watching, put on your show. Mama love mac and cheese fresh out the stove. Stay the hell up out the kitchen, only thing she wishing. Either the channel or our fit, only thing we switching. Loyalty to our God, the famine and the block. Shout out to all my people that hustle around the clock. Grown folks sipping, ain't nobody tripping. Who got that la 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 la? Ain't nobody snitching. We just trying to get our boogie on. Bust a two-step. Ladies pumping, watch your hands, don't get too fresh. It's such a beautiful day, yeah. 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 It's such a beautiful day in black neighborhoods. It's such a beautiful day to be black, It's such a beautiful day in black neighborhoods. It's such a beautiful day to be black, yeah. What we gon' do? Barbecue, what we gon' play? Frankie Beverly, probably running to the stove for some liquor though, or a cup of ice. It ain't about the price, it's about the vibe. Might put it on the live, might throw it on the gram. Just chilling with the fam. It's such a good day to ride a hoop day or shoot some hoops. Hey, too nice for 2K. We outside like a group A. On my skaters kick push on that loop A. Motorbikes popping willies, man, I'm such a fan. Couple ladies in the shade screaming the 10. Couple people by the pool screaming the rules. Cannonball, trying to keep it cool. Ain't nobody anywhere trying to start a fight, so we gon' do this all night. It's such a beautiful day, yeah. 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 It's such a beautiful day in black neighborhoods. It's such a beautiful day to be black, It's such a beautiful day in black neighborhoods. It's such a beautiful day to be black, yeah. In a perfect world, we would own it all. Regulate every block from the shopping malls to the schools, bodegas, and the fools. Circulate the black dollar like a giant susu. Keep our kings out of prison, teach them how to change the rules. Protecting all our queens, easier said than seen. But every idea's a dream until actions are applied. I just need us working side by side. Will be a beautiful day, yeah. Oh, what a beautiful day, yeah. Will be a beautiful day, yeah. Oh, what a beautiful day, yeah. Will be a beautiful day in black neighborhoods. Will be a beautiful day to be black, oh, what a beautiful day in black neighborhoods. Will be a beautiful day to be black, yeah. Rilla.
It was really that type of feeling. And I was ready to leave, and she stopped me and asked me to stay and watch her perform. And after that, I've been there ever since. Now it's called La Rock. And I'm rolling with She Real. Polite. Bottom line.
All right, and that was She Real, a beautiful day. Like I said in the comments, like strong, common, produced by Kanye vibes, but also video wise, I feel like a lot of summertime vibes, Jazzy Jeff, Fresh Prince, Summertime. Actually, too, reminds me a bit of Tiana Taylor's "You're Gonna Love Me" for more, a little bit for that New York kind of summertime example. Definitely, yeah. that's another reference that came to mind. You know, a good time about good vibes video. You know, it's getting cooler, but that's definitely like it's a cookout track to me. Definitely very much that. A few facts about She Real. Of course, she's based in New York, but Harlem specifically. She's a writer, father, write and record songs in the living room as a child. He encouraged her to write her first song at 9, but then a while passed before she started to pursue a career. For a while, she was trying to pursue a professional career as a basketball player. But then she curled over into music after a while, after a tough experience. Then she's been performing and consistently releasing music. She released an 8th project called High Sherelle in 2020. She's been featured on Hot 97, Lux's Top Shelf Freestyle, Jermaine Dupri's Also Deaf Women's Cypher, BET Jams, Sway in the Morning. So she's making her rounds. And also, you can follow her on her website, SheRealTalk.com. For videos and music, and also upcoming shows, things like that. She's also worked with people like Jules Santana, Styles P. She's a college, so she's she's definitely. I think she's bubbling under, and she's I'm not sure. Well, it depends because her music is definitely a catchy song, but it's necessarily like it's not the pop sound that's on the radio right now. So but I definitely she's well known within rap circles. So. I think she probably would be good with someone like a Rhapsody for a collaboration. That could be, or that sort of, because they share that kind of same vibe to me, and they would be a good mashup today of a collaboration. So, but yeah, that was She Real with Beautiful Day. So you can check her out. You can follow her on Instagram as well, or go to her website SheRealTalk.com. Then one last story before we get into our last video of the night. It's, apparently, it sounds like an interesting project. Gabrielle Union, Taraji P. Henson, and producer F.E.T. Brown produced a Black Magical University film called Sorority. So that's okay. So F.E.T. Brown's Game Changer Films, Gabrielle Union's I Have Another Productions, and Taraji P. Henson's TPH Entertainment are banding together to produce Sorority. I would say the rest because that's a mouthful. Based on a graphic novel by Mikhail Sebastian and George Watson, producing with Brown, Union, and Henson includes I Have Another's Keon Gass, who oversee and TPH's Entertainment's Christine Cooley. Basically, it chronicles a young Black girl, Melanie, who's following in the footsteps of her late mother. She was in the historic African American Coven and University of Magic. She soon discovers her enrollment into the school may not be entirely of her own choosing, but rather the calculated actions of a higher authority. Entering her study, she uncovers her familiar connection to the school's mysterious past, as well as a pivotal role in the future. So definitely, it's like I said, a very interesting, a little bit of like a modern, like Harry Potter, but still like in more of a modern setting, with a mix with a bit of maybe a little bit of Charmed, maybe, or perhaps a little bit of Sabrina. I can see different things coming up. Even when you said Coven, American Horror Story, which I would, well, you never know, but I would hope that Angela Bassett would make an appearance, but she may be tired of playing witches well, she was a voodoo priestess in Coven, but she may not want to dip into that lake because she's done it so often, over the years, but you never know. Because that scene, with her and Jessica Lange, when she was like, everything you got from us, but yeah, it sounds interesting. I'm not sure where it doesn't say where it's gonna air yet. I think it's kind of early stages of production. So, but yeah, but Sororities, I would think it'd probably be a streaming show, but it sounds cool. It sounds like a great example, a great show. Of course, Taraji and Gabrielle together. So, I'm here for it. Yeah, I approve. So, and then before we get into our last video again, if you have, any artists or you are artists that has, a great video or a great song, send them to me at afrosensei@gmail.com. Again, it's afrosensei@gmail.com. Either the video link or the song link or both. Maybe if I like the video, but I already have enough videos for one show, I can either play on the next show, or maybe I can add the song to the playlist if it sounds like the playlist at the time. Either one or maybe both. It just depends. I just send your links or to the afrosensei@gmail.com, and I can check them out, listen to them, and watch the video, and and hopefully we could maybe add them to the show list or the playlist. Also, any artist you think would be a good fit for an interview, because we're trying to do more of those consistently, do interviews. Again, you can send them my way at africanshow@gmail.com. You can check them out. So, our last video of the night, a different change in tone from change in tone genre-wise from the last video. This is a video by a duo. They were based in London, but I think they moved to the U.S. now. A duo called Unsung Lily, and they have like a retro 80s pop sound, which is really catchy, and I really love it. This track is called "Hold My Hand" for this video. So let's get into that one. This is Unsung Lily. This is "Hold My Hand." And that was Unsung Lily with "Hold My Hand." I like that give description of them. It said it's like LaRue, kind of like LaRue, kind of Tegan and Sarah if they had cheat codes produced for them. Now, I know LaRue and Tegan and Sarah. I don't know the cheat codes, but I get that combination like LaRue. I remember like the Bulletproof era. That kind of sound. Tegan and Sarah, yeah. Actually, I was thinking because of that retro '80s sound with a bit of like a pop, light R&B vibe. New shoes, baby, I can't wait. Yeah. No, scratchy falsetto and all. A little bit of that. That could be like the remix. Yeah. Oh, something like that. But a few facts about Unsung Lily. They're originally from Britain. They're wife and wife, which is so cute. Sarah and Frankie. They're back with a series of some retro pop releases. The album's coming later this year, I believe. So they have evolved from a previous album of Epics called 12. The new influences are about they're influenced by people like Prince and Chaka Khan, which definitely makes sense. They wrote the album during lockdown. They really found themselves influenced by songs from the 70s and the 80s, and they also it's how they bonded was like over this level like old school music, 80s music, 70s music, and they've been making music together since 2012. Right now they're based in California, and how it works is usually Frankie plays the instruments, and then Sarah pens the lyrics. So the new album is due for release. It should be out soon. It says they're ready for release in the autumn of this year. So I'm assuming if it's not out already, it'll be out soon. But the two singles they have, aside from Hold My Hands, one called Lose Myself, and also a cover of Waiting for a Star to Fall, which I haven't heard before, but I give it a listen based on Hold My Hand. So you can follow them, Unsung Lily. They're on Instagram. I'm sure they're on Facebook and other platforms and places like that, but definitely Instagram. And that song was called Hold My Hand. So which that completes artist lineup for tonight. Special thanks to Hales for making the time in her schedule to sit down and talk with me. Again, any artist that's doing great things that you think would be a great fit, you can send them to me at afrosensation@gmail.com. Again, it's afrosensation@gmail.com. Same thing if you have a video, if you have a track that you love that you don't have a video for, but you love the track, you can send it to me and I can let's do it and possibly submit it for the playlist. Just Glide. I haven't heard. I don't think I've heard of her. I think I heard of her, but I don't think I've listened to her yet. So I may have to check them out. Yeah. Okay, Adele. Okay. Speaking of that, when Adele's come out with a new album, she's been gone for a minute. She didn't come back with the jump off, but I mean, she come up. It's time for something, I think. Oh yeah, she does. Yes, definitely. She's actually dating LeBron James is I think his manager or something like that. Which is random reference, a random aside, but I've heard that on the read this weekend. Which do you, girl? I think she's divorced now. So, but yeah, it's been a while. I think last record she put out was 25, which was the name of the album. I think that was about 3-4 years ago now. I actually heard someone did like a bounce version of Hello, I believe, and they played it at a I think I played it at a wedding I was at not too long ago. And actually before that, back years ago, I remember late at night they would play. Someone did a bounce version of Rolling in the Deep. If you can find it, it may be online on YouTube somewhere. If you can find a bounce version of Rolling in the Deep, so so yeah. Well, she's like 32 now, so I guess the EP would be called 35, maybe 34. I don't know if she's sticking with the numbers theme. If she's like 32 or 33 now, so I think she's like she'd be up to 35 now, if she wanted to stay with the numbers, but she may not. Who knows? So. But our next show will be on. See, today is the 24th, so the next show should be on the 8th, October the 8th. So October, Halloween time, trying to get festive, trying to do a little twist the bones and bend the back, that reference. A little hocus pocus. Remember when you remember. I don't know what I'm dressing as yet, but I'll think of something. I don't know. 2 shows in October. Try to have another interview in the can for the next show. May have a special guest for one of the October shows. As I mentioned before, I have to reach out to him, see if he's available on that date. If he may be, he's busy. He could be a busy man because he has his own podcast. Speaking, of course, of Jalen from Go Black Boy Go, he said he's down to appear as a special guest. So that'd be a fun one. So. have a little co-host action happening. Again, one more time, any artist you know that's doing great, interesting LGBTQ artists, be sure to send them my way at afrosensation@gmail.com. Again, that's afrosensation@gmail.com via the playlist, which is updated monthly, or a video, which of course this happens every other week with this show. So I guess until next time, be safe, have fun, be gay, bi, trans, be proud, all that shit. If you're black too, be proud of that as well. So, and so, good night.